I'm just going to point it out for all of you. This is Angel Reese's home stomping grounds, by the way. So moving the ball to the preseason game, Brazil versus the preseason game against the Brazilian national team, sold out in 36 minutes, 15,000 fans. There's tickets for that game, upwards of $4,500.
Caitlin Clark is set to play in Baltimore this summer at CFG Bank Arena. The Washington Mystics just made a major move, shifting their 2 home games against the Indiana Fever from their usual arena in D.C. to a bigger venue, anticipating the massive crowd Clark will bring. If you thought the Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese rivalry was just about basketball, think again. Now, it's turning into a citywide spectacle. And let's not forget, Baltimore is Angel Reese's hometown.
Caitlin Clark going to be playing here in Baltimore this summer at CFG Bank Arena. The Washington Mystics announced their 2 games with the Indiana Fever being moved from their home arena in D.C. to a larger venue in order to accommodate the anticipated crowd.
So, this move isn't just about logistics. The Mystics could have easily relocated the game to Capital One Arena in D.C., just like last season. Instead, they strategically placed it right in Reese's backyard. Now, the big question is, was this intentional? Did they just set Reese up for an uncomfortable moment where she might get overshadowed in her own city? No matter how you look at it, this decision is setting the stage for absolute WNBA chaos. And honestly, we're here for every second of it.
Official release, straight from the NBA website, man. Indiana Fever 2025 road games at Mystics moved to Baltimore. So Angel, man, I mean, listen, y'all made a big deal 2 weeks ago about a Caitlin Clark billboard being put up in Chicago.
The official announcement came straight from the WNBA. The Mystics' home games against Clark's Indiana Fever on May 28th and September 7th are officially moving to Baltimore. And the reaction, absolute meltdown mode from Reese's fans. Just a few weeks ago, they were furious over a Caitlin Clark billboard being put up in Chicago. Now, their worst nightmare is unfolding right in front of them.
But her attention, her notoriety is based off Caitlin Clark. Because she wins the national title, first thing she does, she mocks Caitlin Clark. And then she doesn't even celebrate with her teammates. So she's made it personal with Caitlin Clark. Then she's played off.
It's been hard for me, but adjusting and just kind of have that mindset of like just moving on has been something I try to give myself a little bit of grace.
Clark taking center stage in Reese's own hometown, not once, but twice. And the response from Reese's supporters? Nothing short of hilarious. This is the Caitlin Clark effect in full force. And spoiler alert, it has absolutely nothing to do with Angel Reese's exaggerated on-court antics. The WNBA is getting a front-row seat to what real star power looks like, and now Baltimore is about to experience it firsthand.
Very thin line between hate and facts. And what I believe to be the case is that there was incremental growth in the WNBA comparatively to the exponential growth we are seeing now. What I'm about to tell y'all I haven't heard before, so I doubt you have either. Before the 2023 season, the WNBA had grown by 40% viewership from 2022 to 2023. But with Caitlin Clark's arrival, it's grown by 400% viewership.
Let's be real. This whole thing started when Reese made Clark a part of her own brand. After winning the national championship, what was the first thing she did? Mocked Caitlin Clark instead of celebrating with her teammates. From that moment on, she made it personal. She built her notoriety around that rivalry, but now it's coming back to haunt her. Chicago fans got their first glimpse of this dynamic earlier this season when Clark played there. The energy in the arena was electric, the crowd was at full capacity, and the hype was unreal. But let's be honest, fans weren't there to watch Angel Reese struggle from the field and flex over routine plays.
A lot of people say that Caitlin Clark moves the needle. That is wrong. She is the needle. She dictates. We all know what she's done on the floor. It's history, right? But off the floor, my goodness, she and the Indiana Fever accounted for 45% of all the broadcast value of the WNBA last season. She accounted also for helping drive the numbers of merchandising up 500%. Of course, her jersey was number 1.
They came to witness Caitlin Clark doing what she does best, dominating the game, setting records, and elevating the league like no one else has in years. This is exactly what the WNBA has been waiting for. An undeniable superstar who moves the needle, fills arenas, and creates real excitement. And sorry, but that excitement isn't coming from Reese's over-the-top celebrations after a modest stat line. Sky fans who have convinced themselves that Reese is the new face of the WNBA are now in damage control.
Yeah, let me tell you about Caitlin Clark.
Yeah.
Caitlin Clark has brought so many eyes to women's basketball that it's amazing. A dude named Acho, I forgot his first name, is something Acho.
Emmanuel Acho.
Yeah. He showed how in 5 days before the draft, she made the WNBA more money than they would have made in the next 5 years.
Every time Clark steps into their city, it's a brutal reality check. Reese's supporters spent months hyping her up, but here's the simple truth. You can't be the face of the league if nobody outside your fan bubble cares. The only time Reese is trending is when she's caught up in controversy, missing open shots, or throwing shade at other players. Meanwhile, Clark is out here doing what actual superstars do, breaking records, selling out arenas, and bringing in an entirely new audience to the sport. There's a fine line between hate and facts, and here's one that can't be ignored. The WNBA was already seeing slow, steady growth.
Jeez. Man. Y'all were mad about that billboard a couple of weeks ago. The Reese's Pieces were. I mean, I just... This is going to annoy Angel. I know it is. And I know that they had to because the MCI Center, whatever, Verizon Center is under renovation. But still.
Before Clark arrived, the league had grown 40% in viewership from 2022 to 2023. But in just one season with Clark, viewership skyrocketed by 400%. That's not just growth, that's a total transformation. And even Reese's biggest supporters have to admit what the rest of us already knew. Caitlin Clark is the reason the WNBA is thriving. Before she entered the league, attendance was inconsistent, TV ratings were struggling, and national interest was fading. Now, packed arenas, record-breaking broadcasts, and teams literally shifting venues just to accommodate demand. And let's be honest, it's not because Angel Reese is putting up average numbers against mediocre competition. It's because Caitlin Clark is a generational player who makes every game must-watch television.
I'll say, see ya there. Now, the Indiana Fever stated venue change, a regular season game on May the 28th. On September 7th at the Washington Mystics are moving to CFG Arena in Baltimore, bruh. So as y'all can see here, say game location change, CFG Bank Arena, Baltimore, Maryland. CFG Bank Arena, Baltimore, Maryland. Somebody said, could it be the Mystic owner doesn't want the Caitlin Clark shine to be seen?
Some people say Caitlin Clark moves the needle. That's wrong. She is the needle. She and the Indiana Fever accounted for 45% of the WNBA's total broadcast value last season. Merchandise sales skyrocketed by 500%. And of course, her jersey was the best seller. Chicago fans are desperately holding on to the idea that Angel Reese is in the same conversation as Clark. But let's break it down. Clark is casually draining. Logo threes, threading impossible passes and making highlight reels every single game. Meanwhile, Reese plays hard, no doubt, but there's a massive difference between being an energetic role player and being a true franchise cornerstone.
I mean, all over. I mean, a lot of these tickets are crazy. But I'm just like, it's not even about the price for me. I'm just thinking about, like, I'm comparing the Indiana Fever versus Chicago Sky, because they said that it was like Me Too. Like, you guys are watching women's basketball because of Me Too. I mean, bro, everybody could get into this. Like, literally everybody could get into this game.
The WNBA is a business, and when it comes to selling tickets, jerseys, and boosting TV ratings, the answer is obvious. And here's a hint. It's not the one flexing after a routine layup. Even the Chicago Sky organization is struggling with this reality. They have to market Angel Reese as their star, but every time Clark comes to town, she takes over. Sold-out crowds, surging jersey sales, highlight plays flooding social media. Meanwhile, Reese's fan base is left trying to make sense of what's happening. They claim she's great for the culture, but let's be honest, culture alone doesn't sell out stadiums. And let's not forget, these are the same fans who were furious over that Caitlin Clark billboard in Chicago. Well, this is going to bother them even more, because let's be real, the Mystics didn't just move these games out of necessity. This is
The Washington Mystics owner Sheila Johnson goes on CNN and says that the entire WNBA should have been put on the cover of Time magazine. It is hard to get away from this conversation because it just keeps making national news. And to be frank, I've never seen a story in the WNBA get as much widespread coverage as this is getting. I honestly can't wait until the season's back in so we can get more about basketball talk. But back to this.
So last night we read Time magazine where Caitlin Clark was named Athlete of the Year. Why couldn't they have put the whole WNBA on that cover and said, the WNBA is the league of the year because of all the talent that we have? Because when you just keep singling out one player, it creates hard feelings.
a strategic move, and Reese's supporters know it. WNBA teams are catching on fast. They've seen what Clark has done for Indiana, and now everyone wants in. This league has never experienced this level of national buzz before. And let's be honest, it's not because Angel Reese is grabbing rebounds. Clark is turning regular season games into must-see events, transforming casual viewers into die-hard fans, while Reese's supporters watch their favorite player take a back seat to the biggest star in the sport. Reality check. Nobody is moving games for Angel Reese. No teams are scrambling to find bigger venues to accommodate overwhelming ticket demand for her. The WNBA already proved that when Clark isn't in the picture, the excitement just isn't the same.
But I've got a theory that Sheila Johnson is trying to do two things here. Number one, she's trying to screw Indiana Fever fans and Caitlin Clark fans. 6,000 less tickets available. Number two, while lining her pockets even more. Now, you might be like, well, Rhodes, I don't get it. Well, it's simple. Less tickets means the gate prices, all right? The gate prices for the game will actually go up. In other words, just like that preseason game, they got has got tickets for $4,500. A run-of-the-mill game like this, we all know Caitlin Clark tickets are expensive.
His fans keep waiting for the world to treat her like basketball royalty. But the truth is undeniable. Clark is on another level. Her impact is real, measurable, and unstoppable, while Reese is stuck playing catch-up, making the most noise but not delivering the same results. Sheila Johnson, the owner of the Mystics, tried to frame this as a push to highlight all WNBA players equally. But let's not kid ourselves. If that were true, why weren't games moving to bigger venues before? Why weren't they selling out like this before? Oh, right, because Angel Reese and the rest of the league weren't drawing this kind of attention.
Caitlin Clark doesn't just move the needle, she is the needle. And if you need any more proof of that, the Indiana Fever exhibition game sold out in just about 30 minutes.
Some hundreds in there. Don't play with them. There's some hundreds in there. Do not play with the Chicago Sky. There are hundreds in there. You see this? Okay. Oh, here goes the Indiana Fever. Wow.
It's The same cycle every time, downplay Clark's impact while secretly benefiting from it. Act like she's overhyped, then turn around and capitalize on the sold-out games and record-breaking ratings. Clark's preseason game against Brazil sold out in just 36 minutes, with some tickets reselling for over $4,500. Meanwhile, Reese's fan base is still asking why she's not getting the same treatment. Do they really need it spelled out? Clark is selling out 10,000-seat arenas in minutes. She's the reason teams are moving games to larger venues.
But yeah, it's a big situation again. Like Caitlin Clark selling out Iowa, sold out a preseason game. People saying it sold out in 40 minutes. This is within 20 minutes. Like, obviously, you couldn't get onto the damn website. It's sold out. You could have been trying to refreshing the page and not got tickets. Most of the time, it officially sold out in 40 minutes, but like realistically, it almost crashed away.
Meanwhile, Reese's supporters are wondering why her games aren't seeing the same frenzy. News flash: Clark is the biggest name in the WNBA. Every game she plays is an event. Meanwhile, Reese's fans are still acting like she's entitled to that same reaction. But why? Because she taunted Clark once? Because she dances on TikTok? That's not enough. One player is changing the game. The other is just along for the ride. Do you agree? Let us know in the comments. Like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. See you in the next one.